Hey everyone, it's Riley, and today I will be setting up my journal for the second half of 2022. So one of the things that I'm most excited about in today's video is that I will be setting up this bullet journal, which is actually one of the ones that is available in my shop. I designed this and launched this a couple of months ago, and it is available in 3 colors. I'm going to try to balance them all here. I've got the green, the blue, and the pink. And you can find all of these in my Etsy shop that's going to be linked below. I also do hope to make some more of these, so if you want your feedback to be heard on like what colors you like, what designs, what features, stuff like that, join me over on Instagram, because whenever I create products like this, I always like to ask and see what people are actually looking for. So if that interests you, you can join me there. That will be linked below as well. So for this new bullet journal setup, I wanted to use a color that number 1 matches my journal cover, which is the green one, and also number 2, it matches actually my 2022 setup that I did back in January. I'm going to link that video here in case you're interested. But the markers that I used for this was Tombow number 228 is like the perfect green to match those journals. And then also Tombow number N79 is just a nice warm gray that I like to pair with it. I do have discount codes for Tombow markers and for like my washi tape, my stamps, stuff like that. So you can find all of the product links along with some pretty great discounts down in the description. And this theme was inspired by a creator on Instagram named Lara, so I will also have her account linked there as well. So if you like content like this, don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Let me know in the comments, are you starting a new bullet journal now in the month of July as well or not? And let's jump into the actual setup. So here's a closer look at the journal that I'm using. As you can see, it's A5 size, it's got an elastic band around it, 2 ribbon bookmarks, and the pages here are stark white, 160 GSM. There's a pocket in the back, 160 pages, everything that I normally look for in a journal, and I'm really excited to jump in. So I'm starting off with a title page here on the very first page for the second half of 2022. And as I mentioned, this spread was inspired by a different creator over on Instagram, especially the title page. I think it was April maybe that she did this sort of theme. And so the title page is very directly inspired from there, and then the rest of the theme just kind of flowed from that. So again, she'll be linked down in the description. And I'm doing sort of like a grid in the background with like some papers and some leafy designs on top of it. So I've got a little sort of sticky note looking page with 2022 part 2. So normally for these like yearly setups, whether it's at the beginning of the year or I usually end up using like one bullet journal every 6 months pretty much. So with my beginning of the year setups or my kind of midway through the year new journal setups, I do usually keep the themes very, very minimal, not that much doodling, not that much drawing. This is definitely the most like drawing heavy theme that I've ever done for the start of a new journal. I'm going to link some of my other videos kind of as we go throughout this video, so that you can see some of the other ones that I've done that have had a little bit more laid back and simpler designs. But I would still say this one is super simple, like drawing leaves, not hard. I went in with a black fine liner first, and then I'm just coloring everything in. And seriously, the only colors that I'm using in this setup are this one, number 228, my favorite green ever, and then I am using 2 grays as well, a slightly darker one, N79, and a lighter one, N89. So now that I've got the leaves colored in, I just colored them in, and then you'll notice I went over like half of each leaf with another layer or 2, same color, just to make it a little bit darker, and then I'm adding some white gel pen on top. So in case you're wondering about any of the spacing here, I really did not measure at all for like the little papers that say 2022 and part 2, but for this grid, each little section is like 3 dot grid spaces tall and 3 dot grid spaces high, and then, or wide, and on every side I kind of went over by 1 dot grid space, you can see. So I started like one dot down started with my first line, one dot in from the left side started with my first line, if that makes sense. And then the spacing should work out perfectly if you're using a standard A5 dotted journal like I am. So the next page that I'm doing here is kind of my future log for the second half of the year. So if you watched my video like this at the first half of the year, you'll know that I kind of split this up into 2 pages. I had like a standard future log with the whole year where I could write down all of like birthdays, events, plans, all that kind of stuff. And then I had another page that looked exactly like it, but it just had a spot to write down like goals and things that I was like hoping to do that month. And now for the second half of the year, I'm not going to include January to June. So it's just July to December, so that way I can fit everything onto one page. All of the birthdays, events, holidays, plans, but then also the goals and things that I hope to do in the second half of the year. So to make the little headings for each month, I'm just using this stencil. I got it from Mr. Pen, just a basic circle stencil, and coloring it in with a black brush pen that's also from Mr. Pen. I have been getting tons of questions lately about white gel pen. And guys, I do not know like the secrets to making white gel pen pop off the page. Sometimes it does for me, sometimes it doesn't, but I know for sure that with these black markers, it really, really helps because they're not water-based. So the white gel pen doesn't really like kind of absorb into them a little bit. So that's something that I know works, using a marker that's not water-based as kind of your base and then putting the white gel pen on top of it. But even so, I've had plenty of luck using white gel pens on top of like Crayola Super Tips and Tombow markers. Those are all water-based. So I'm not sure what the secret is, but it all seems to work pretty well for me. So as I mentioned, I am combining kind of everything into this one page, and I realized afterwards I probably should have used like the word events instead of plans, because some things are just like someone's birthday. That's not really a plan that I have, it's just an event that exists. But anyways, so I've got plans at the top and then goals at the bottom, and that's mostly surrounding work, just thinking about different videos that I might want to do or different products that I might want to launch and the different stages involved with that, sort of things like that, where I can break down bigger projects into kind of what steps need to be completed each month. So that's my future log. I really love how that page turned out. I know it's going to be super useful, and I think it turned out pretty cute as well. So moving on to this next page, this is another repeat page that I've included at the beginning of every journal setup that I've done on my channel, and it's the When Did I Last page. So this time I'm doing it over 2 pages, and I've kind of always done this, but I've normally separated it to be like a When Did I Last page and then an annual cleaning tracking page. But this time I decided to combine it and just put like sort of random tasks on one page and cleaning tasks on the other page. All of it's when did I last, vacuum under the bed or whatever, those kinds of things. So on the left side, I'm going to call them like tasks, but that's things like, getting my wedding ring cleaned, getting an oil change, printing off pictures, things like that. And then the other side is going to be called the chores page. And that's really just things around the house, dusting the baseboards, cleaning out the freezer, things like that, bigger tasks that I don't do on a regular basis. And again, I used the doodles inspired by Lara in the corners. And I feel like I've never seen anyone else do this before. Maybe I have, but one thing that she does a lot that I really love is kind of like the strokes of marker paired with washi tape that you'll see in the corners of a lot of these pages. And it's something that I've never really seen before, but I decided to give it a try because I feel like it looks so good on her bullet journal pages when she does use it. So I made a little border here, and then I'm going in with my stamps. This is the stamp set from Paperwrld. It's got all of the lowercase, uppercase, all the numbers, a bunch of different punctuation, extra stuff. And again, I will have the stamps, the white gel pen, the markers, the journals, all that kind of stuff is going to be linked down below with as many discounts as I can get for you guys. So I just put down the different headings, and then I'm writing out, well, not writing out, but like the first letter of each month from July through to December. so that when I do want to do that task, so like I'll have the name of a task like get an oil change, and I'll put a hollow circle in each month that I need to or want to do that, and then once I actually do it, I can color it in. So that's how this page works for me. So moving on to another new page here. This one's going to be set up more like the title page, where I've got a grid covering the entire background and everything else is just kind of like pasted on top of it. So on the left side, I've got a page for things that I'm waiting on. So this is mostly things that I've ordered, things that are being sent to me. And then on the other page, I've got a little tracker for my work, which I've always done, but I've always kind of switched it up. So on the waiting on side, I'm just drawing one big sheet of paper, and in here I'm just going to have a column for the item that I'm waiting on, and then I use these 3 different icons. The first one is just like a down arrow to show that the item arrived. The next one is like a little camera icon, so for things, you know, like when the washi tape shop sends me some washi tape to use, I don't check, or I don't like, you know, check off, fill in, whatever, that column until I've actually taken the picture. And then the final column there is just a check mark that shows that like it's been approved, I'm good to go, I'm kind of done with the promotional aspect of that product. So obviously that doesn't apply to nearly everything that I'm waiting on. Lots of things really only need that first column, but I just like to have those there on the occasions that I do receive things to post about. So now again, I'm just adding a few different types of leaves. You really could, if you wanted to add like more color to this spread instead of just one green and then a bunch of gray, you could definitely add like some flowers to this leafy design and just have them sticking out from like the corners, from underneath these fake little papers and stuff like that. So as I mentioned, this other page here is for work, which is really, I don't know, it's kind of a broad category for me. Like I just work from home doing whatever bullet journal related things I can think to do. So like YouTube, selling journals on Etsy, making some digital journals, affiliate marketing stuff, with like the stamps and stuff that I mentioned down in the description. I get a small commission from that. So that's why I just called it work, because there's kind of a bunch of like random odds and ends that contribute. So at the top, I have a little section for my social media stats. So just tracking my YouTube growth, Instagram growth, and TikTok, which I haven't used in months, but I still put it on here in case I decide to pick it up a little bit again. And then the bottom is for tracking my income. So again, there will be a little icon for YouTube and one for Etsy. And then I've got just a question mark as the third one, and that's for like everything else. I do keep track of budgeting things mainly on the computer, but on the computer I don't really get to see like an overview of how, you know, YouTube related in July versus September, or how my Etsy sales were in August versus December. So I do take the things from our little budgeting app and then put them into here just to see kind of an overview of my different streams of income and how profitable they have been. So if you are enjoying the video so far, you like getting this kind of bullet journal inspiration, I would love to have you join me here on my channel by subscribing. If you're already subscribed and you're looking for other ways to connect with me, or you want to see maybe some still photos of these pages, you can head over to my Instagram account. That's going to be linked down in the description, because I will be posting pictures of all these pages if you want to actually just like freeze and copy certain elements or whatever. And then if you do decide to recreate any of these, or if you do purchase a journal from my shop, please tag me on Instagram. I would absolutely love to see what's going on in your bullet journal as well. So that's the end of that 2-page spread. Now flipping over again, I'm going to be setting up a page for YouTube. So this is something that I just started doing at the beginning of this year. Like I just started organizing it kind of a different way, and I kind of like it. I didn't use it tons. I mean, mostly because for those of you who don't know, I've been on kind of like a modified bed rest since the beginning of April. So it's been 3 months. And so I really haven't used my standard like YouTube planning and tracking system because I haven't been posting as regularly as I used to. But I like the idea, so I decided to try doing it again. And basically what I want to do is kind of have an outline of like my YouTube posting formula for each month, you know. So maybe week 1, my goal is to post like 1 flip through and 1 sort of digital journaling video. Week 4 or whatever, I want to post my plan with me and give some ideas for other monthly themes for that month, you know? So it's just kind of a place to brainstorm what I can do that month and kind of have a formula for what I want that month on YouTube to look like. So again, it's just from July through to December. So over to the side, I've got kind of the 4 weeks of each month mapped out there. And then in the gray box, I'm going to put kind of like my targets, you know, like flip through plus plan with me, or digital bullet journaling plus theme ideas, something like that, you know, things that I want to post that week. And then in each monthly column, I can write the actual dates and what I want to post on that date that hopefully kind of lines up with the formula that I've made. So that is the top part of the page. Down at the bottom is just a spot for ideas. So I did do a bigger section for ideas. I think I actually did a whole page at the beginning of this year, and I didn't write down a single idea in there. I just didn't end up using it. So I wasn't planning to include any section for ideas, but then on this page, I really didn't know what I was going to do with the bottom half of the page. So I just decided to throw it in there. We'll see if I use it. I might not, but either way, I think it turned out pretty cute. I always do love doing that stacked calligraphy that I used for the little ideas title. I wish I had done more of that throughout this theme, because I feel like it looks really cute with like the little spray of leaves going out the side. So let's do a little flip through here. We've got our title page and then a future log with a spot for both plans and goals for the year. Flipping over, I have my when did I last page with 1 section for kind of random tasks and 1 section specifically for cleaning tasks. Then I've got my waiting on list, my work stats, and finally a page to just kind of write down everything that's going on my YouTube channel for the second half of the year. Thank you all so much for joining me to set up the second half of the year here in my brand new journal. I hope that you guys enjoyed it. Don't forget to subscribe if you did, and I'll see you in the next video.